Hello, I'm John Fox, and until John West, I'm having a Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony Adventure, and we're on trial. Well, I'm not on trial. I'm not on trial. Maki's on trial. Kokichi's on trial. But who done it? We don't know, because apparently none is Monokuma. Which means it wouldn't matter. Hang on. We've got a thing. We can just...
Which means it wouldn't matter where the surveillance cameras were hidden.
That was the last thing that was said. Let's continue.
Like I said, what's the point? Kokichi's the one who's controlling Monokuma!
No, he's not.
Before we determine that for sure, I want to make one thing clear. If the objective were to create a crime that would stump Monokuma, the Exisals... Yes, the Exisals weren't protecting Monokuma. They were...
admiring him. Watching him.
That's it! They were watching Monokuma.
Watching him?
Yes. Remember what Monokuma said earlier in the investigation?
Well, no, only you were there. Exisals were on autopilot and directed only to observe me.
If they were protecting him like bodyguards, they wouldn't have been facing him. They would have been scanning the area, watching us. But they weren't. That implies that they weren't watching us. They were watching him. They were trying to make sure that Monokuma wouldn't go near the crime scene.
That reminds me. Before I stole an Exisal, all 4 units were focused on Monokuma. That's why when I stole one to enter the hangar, the other 3 didn't pursue me.
So Monokuma must have been talking about Maki.
Alright, fair enough.
She didn't want to share that information because it would have linked her to the murder. In which case, it could only be Maki.
You're right.
So to summarize this discussion, Kokichi used the electro bomb in the hangar and the Exisals to watch Monokuma, thereby creating a scenario in which Monokuma has no idea who the culprit is?
I told you there's no point! Kokichi's the one who's controlling Monokuma!
No, Kokichi might not be controlling Monokuma at all.
How did he plan this? Neither of them knew Maki was on her way.
What? But Kokichi's the mastermind, right? Shouldn't he be controlling Monokuma?
Kokichi might not be the mastermind.
Told ya.
What?
Remember that the only reason we think that is because Kokichi told us. Monokuma hasn't said a word about that. It's possible that Kokichi is just lying to us.
No way I lied! I'm definitely controlling Monokuma. The mastermind of the killing game is totally me. The one who pitted humanity's last survivors against each other is... all me, baby.
Right. He's a remnant of despair. How'd we forget that?
No, he's not.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he's the
I
mastermind.
don't even think he's a remnant of despair.
Well, I guess. But is that really possible?
Well, Monokuma?
I can't answer that without causing problems, because I gotta run this trial fair and square.
Even more reason to give us the answer. If you don't tell us the truth right now, you'll be an accomplice to Kokichi's lies. Does that sound like a fair game? Would you say this class trial is fair?
Yeah, tell us. Is Kokichi the real mastermind or not?
No need to think about it. You're being way too forward, you know?
Aren't you normally the forward one?
Ah!
I mean, I don't mind, because that's probably part of your strategy, too. But in the interest of fairness, I suppose it's time to tell the truth. Unlike the lies you love so much, the truth should be impartial to everyone.
And what is that truth?
I'm not being controlled by Kokichi, because he's not the mastermind.
What?
Is that really true?
Kokichi was just messing with you. I never once said he was the mastermind.
And he didn't go for that door.
Then it was all Kokichi's lie?
Which is how we could have instantly tested that.
Yeah, that is what that would mean. With the key from the last motive, he was the first to learn the truth of the outside world. Based on his deductions, he fabricated a lie to make you all think he was the mastermind.
I see. Kokichi's own deductions.
His deductions got a lot of details right, though. Pretty impressive, honestly.
But what about the Exisol? If Kokichi wasn't the mastermind, how'd he control them so easily?
He just used Mew's remote control, right?
Mew's remote control.
So the remote that Kokichi was using was made by Mew?
Oh, you didn't know?
You better call somebody.
Mew not only invented the electro bomb and the electro hammer, she also made a remote control that can hijack any electronic device.
Why didn't she use that before?
Kokichi just slapped a receiver on each of the exosols and took them for a spin.
Hey, isn't it a bit unfair to tell them all that?
Fairness has nothing to do with it. I offered up that info purely out of spite. Spite towards you for trying to usurp the mastermind's role and take over the game.
Well, whatever. It's way more interesting to defeat an enemy who plays dirty anyway.
What's going on? It seems like they're actually fighting.
There's no doubt about it. Kokichi isn't the mastermind.
Were we just being dragged around by Kokichi's lies the whole time?
What were you trying to accomplish by pretending to be the mastermind, Kokichi?
Yeah! Now you're gonna be all quiet? This is so frustrating!
Then if he's not the mastermind, who is?
Why are you so certain there's even a mastermind to begin with?
This is a door. What?
What do you mean?
Why, that's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
But I wanna know!
The real mastermind is not Kokichi. Who could it be? I was thinking it was Yonko Enoshima, but that can't be it. She's dead. We never came in contact with her. If so, who's done this? Who planned this killing game?
Anyway, this conversation has flown off the rails. Let's get things back on track. This class trial is to figure out who the culprit is, not the mastermind.
Why?
So, yeah, get to talking.
I agree. Before we worry about who the mastermind is or what my intent is, let's figure out the culprit!
But Monokuma doesn't know who it is. How is he supposed to confirm the results?
We don't need to worry about that. Let's just leave the decision-making to Monokuma. But you gotta run the class trial too, so no mistakes, okay?
Are you trying to get me to do something?
You've been watching us solve all these cases, but you can't be a spectator anymore. You're gonna participate in the class trial from here on out.
Oh?
So, let's resume this class trial. Monokuma, you gotta use your brain too. This will be the final class trial. Me versus Monokuma.
You versus Monokuma?
When I play a game, I intend to win. But what's considered winning in this game? Beating the other players? No. Beating the game's mastermind is the true victory. And that's how I'll win! That's why I decided to challenge Monokuma! If I can deceive Monokuma till the very end, then I'll be the winner!
You're dragging us around like this? Just so you can win a game?
As I suspected, your thought process defies all logic.
But since the outside world is in total ruin, this game is the only entertainment we have. At least I can enjoy this game to the fullest and feel good winning.
You really are a remnant of despair. Your way of thinking is just chaotic.
He's not. He's not Remnant to speak. Yeah.
Whatevs. Let's just get this started. If the students or Monokuma don't know who the culprit is, then I'm the winner.
Don't underestimate me, or Shuichi and the others for that matter.
What?
It's just like a remnant of despair to try to assume control of the game.
He's not a remnant of despair.
But these kids are all that's left of Hope's Peak Academy. If you think they're gonna make this easy for you, you better think again.
Whose side are you taking here?
Side? Isn't it obvious? Monokuma joins your party.
The ultimate despair headmaster.
Who invited you?
Now, let's join forces and unravel the truth behind this case.
Okay. If he's an active participant, we can vote for him. And that means he's the blackened.
Well, we were going to do it anyway.
Let's just ignore Monokuma. His actions are always beyond comprehension.
He's not in the lineup though, so.
Yeah! Let's just focus on the case!
Hey, be quiet so we can ignore you.
Now, where should we start? We've already established what Kokichi is after.
He's just gonna keep talking anyway, isn't he?
In my experience, whenever you learn a new fact, you learn something else along with it.
Yes, let's look for that.
What? I mean, yeah, I get the.
You warmed up to him.
You get a
real fast.
chain of.
I guess you are both
That's
robots.
robophobic. So another truth comes out. That piece of evidence makes more sense now. The evidence that I couldn't wrap my head around. This one? Okay, no.
I was wrong!
I was wrong! I don't think you have to care about them thinking you're a fraud. The murder video?
This is it!
Let's discuss the video of Kaito being crushed by the hydraulic press. Kokichi said that he filmed that video to prove he was not the victim. But we know that Kokichi was trying to mislead Monokuma. So what about the video?
Oh my goodness. So that could be... Hang on, it could be Kokichi. That could be Kokichi that's dead. Hang on.
It's pretty strange to present evidence that condemns you after all.
The oh my goodness was that it could be Kaito in the, It could have been Kaito all along in the mech. Yeah.
Then what kind of mistake was Kokichi trying to get me to make?
Maybe he crushed Kaito with a hydraulic press, so the cause of death would be unknown?
But if that were the only objective, there would be no need to film
It's
it.
the wrong victim.
Discovering the crushed body would have been enough. No need to show us the film.
That's true.
I guess you're starting to fit in after all. If you get any cuter, I'm gonna hug you.
Huh? Really?
There must be a reason you went out of your way to show us the body being crushed.
No reason, really. That's just my twisted personality.
You're lying again, Kokichi. There's a method to your madness. If you wanted Monokuma to make a mistake, then showing us the video... It must have something to do with trying to fool Monokuma. Taking the video of the murder, but keeping the victim's identity hidden... What does it show? What doesn't it show? I have no idea, so I'm just going to click on random things. T. C. The victim. Oops.
I see now.
The victim.
Huh?
Is it even possible? No, that's a question for later. For now, we know that...
If you show the moment of Kaito's death, of course it would lead us to believe he died. Even if we can't positively identify the body, we would still believe Kaito was the victim. That might be exactly the mistake Kokichi was going for.
Does that mean the victims were switched?
This is what I meant. That's why I went, oh...
Switched?
Then it was some other dead body that got crushed by the hydraulic press?
What?
Where would he even get another body?
There should be plenty to choose from if you reuse the body of a former victim.
If there was an unknown body, then we could guess the victim was switched. But too bad! Switching the victims was impossible. The footage showed the body being crushed. When in the footage would they have been able to switch the victim? And we already established that the footage was not doctored in any way. The camera doesn't have any editing functions. Just play, record, and pause.
Pause. Pause. That'll do it.
Monokuma also said that no computer was used to edit the footage. Remember?
Damn it! Me and my big mouth!
Which means switching out the victim would not be possible. Also, if the victim was switched, then that would mean Kaito is still alive. We already discussed this so many times. The chance of that happening is impossible.
it might be possible.
Huh?
There could be a trick to make the switch possible. We just haven't noticed it yet.
Pause button. You pause.
Oh, and what trick is that? See? You don't know, do you? I already said it's impossible.
Maki's not wrong. There is a way it could be done. So we can't just give up here.
Hey, Shuichi. I'll think harder about this as well. So, can you confirm whether or not the victim switched places? If Kaito is alive or not?
Maki.
I don't like the thought that I killed Kaito. I don't want that.
Okay then. Let's talk about the possibility that Makiro mentioned.
Himiko, if you call her that again...
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Then let's all talk it over together.
Together! You're not alone.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll figure something
The
out.
pause button. You pause.
Jeez, you guys are a stubborn bunch. There's no trick.
That's probably another lie.
However, if the victims were switched, then that would mean the footage was altered. How could it have been altered when we know that the footage wasn't edited?
If we could figure that out, maybe we'd know how they switched places.
I knew there was a trick to that video the whole time. Kokichi made it, so it's 100% suspicious.
The trick to that video. That's why the coat was out. What could it be? What's suspicious about it? There's a brief pause.
There must be some trick to that video.
That's what you all gotta figure out.
There is no trick. You can check, but there's no editing function in that camera.
Did the placement of that camera seem suspicious to any of you? The filming angle seemed unnatural, don't you think?
The person in that video. Was it really Kaito?
Something seemed off about that video to me. When the hydraulic press stopped for a brief moment.
That's the safety function.
That the video was shot at another location?
Any other bright ideas? Come on, everybody, speak up!
Did the placement of that any of you? The filming angle seemed unnatural, don't you think?
The person in that video. Kaito?
Something seemed off about that video to me. When the hydraulic press
You think so too, right, Suichi? The hydraulic press wouldn't stop when I laid underneath it, but it did stop for Kaito. This is obviously robiophobia. I'll never forgive that bigoted hydraulic press. What?
There must be some trick to that video.
That's what you all gotta figure out.
There is no trick. You can check, but there's no editing function in that camera.
Did the placement of that... don't you think?
The person in that video. Kaito?
Something seemed off about that video to me. The hydraulic press
Okay.
I agree.
I don't understand why the safety function wasn't the answer to that one.
Kibo is onto something. Isn't it weird that the hydraulic press stopped for a second? Because when Kibo and I first investigated that hydraulic press,
It's right. The hydraulic press kept lowering itself without stopping.
But in the video,
The hydraulic press stopped briefly, right before it crushed the body?
But why would it stop?
There's only one reason I could think of. Why did the press stop? Okay, I don't know if there's a clever way of doing this, so...
I see it. The only way to stop the hydraulic press is the force stop button.
An electro bomb went off in the hangar, which would have interfered with
Ah.
the safety function.
Completely forgot.
There'd be no way to stop the hydraulic press unless someone used the force stop button.
When you say someone, you mean Kokichi, right? He was the only one there.
Actually, maybe I pressed it by accident. I don't really remember. So what of it? The press only stopped for like a sec. You can't switch the victim in such a short time, can you?
That's true.
There's also the question of how the bodies got switched while the camera was
The pause
rolling.
button.
That would have clearly been caught on camera.
While the camera was rolling.
Oh, I see. It wasn't just the press that stopped.
Huh? Huh? What do you mean?
If you stop something else at the same time you stop the hydraulic press,
I see. Yes, I see it now. That's how the bodies were switched. You stopped that, you could have swapped the bodies easily. I don't even know what that is. Oh. Oh, not that. Oh, bomb exploded in my face.
is this...
Why would Monokuma end it?
We can't let it end here!
Alright, cool. Oh, whatever. I like that they moved to their positions.
I see it! The culprit stopped the video camera at the same time as the hydraulic press. Then, while the camera was off, they switched the body under the hydraulic press.
How did the camera work after they'd used the EMP already?
After the body was swapped, the press and the camera were started simultaneously. So it just looks like the press stopped for a moment.
been saying this whole time!
When did you ever say that?
So they stopped at the same time. The camera position did seem odd to me. But now I get it. The trick wouldn't work unless it was set up there.
Huh? Why?
To get the trick we just described to work, the camera had to be set up precisely.
Let's pin that down. Where was the camera set up? In... Maybe it was set up on one of the exocells. Pretty far away, you wouldn't be able to touch both at the same time. Oh. Oh! Set up over there. Oh.
Damn it!
I don't know.
There! The video camera must have been set up somewhere around here. To operate the press and the camera at the same time, you would have to be near the switch.
That's why the video was taken from that unnatural angle. If they were recording it like normal, they would have used a better angle.
And if it was recorded at such an odd angle, then that proves the trick was used.
Camera angles, huh? Looks like your cosplayer experience is finally useful.
Well, cosplay doesn't really come up all that much in class trials.
There was a reason the camera was set up there, but also a reason for the height. When the press was stopped, you couldn't really see who was inside it, correct? That was intentional. The body is mostly hidden by the press, making the swap easier.
The camera must have been placed at such a high position so it would produce that angle.
I wonder if they used that tripod in the hangar to adjust the camera's height.
Did they get that from the warehouse too? Jeez, that place is like a 4D pocket.
You don't get to make that reference.
Then, that logic is correct, right? Kokichi used that video angle trick and switched the victim in the hydraulic press. In that case, Kaito is...
Before he was crushed by the press, he was swapped with a different body. So Kaito's still alive!
I mean, he's still poisoned.
Well, wait just a minute.
What? But I just summed it up so nicely.
Aww.
Himiko, the different body you mentioned, what are you talking about?
The bodies from the other cases. Kokichi's the mastermind, so he... Wait, the mastermind?
Yeah, Kokichi isn't the mastermind, so... I don't think he'd be able to produce a body to switch out.
What?
Well, Monokuma, do the rules allow for a body to be reused?
Very well, I'll answer that.
You're giving in pretty easily.
Well, it's crucial information to make the trial fair. This discussion is pointless if it's not clear what the culprit was allowed to do, right?
You're a convenient mastermind, but I guess that makes defeating you worth my time.
Now then, regarding the reuse of a dead body. That is impossible! All the dead bodies have already been thrown away.
Thrown away?
The other bodies are... gone? Then who did Kaito switch places with?
Kokichi, obviously. Kokichi and Kaito were the only ones in the hangar at that time. If they were the only ones present during the body swapping trick, then the real victim was... the other person in the hangar. If it wasn't an old body, it could only be...
What's wrong, Shuichi? Who did Kaito switch places with?
Maki, I think I missed something very important here.
Something important?
If I have the timeline right, there were only 2 people in the hangar at that time. Which means that something had to have been decided before. I have to pin that down. Can't let anything escape me this time. I actually don't know. Oh, maybe I do know. I'm looking for an S. Okay. Or an H. Hey, give me an app. Victim helped. Ah, if its background isn't, it doesn't count.
I can't believe I overlooked this.
What do you mean?
There were only 2 people in the hangar at the time the bodies were swapped. Which means they were working together.
Huh? Working together?
The only 2 people involved in the swap were the victim and the culprit. The culprit was operating the camera and the hydraulic press, while the victim lay inside. If they switched places while the press and the camera were stopped, then the person who turned the camera and the press back on was the original victim. To put it simply, both people operated the press and camera at different times. An impossible trick, unless the victim and culprit agreed to cooperate beforehand.
Fair enough.
The victim and culprit cooperated? Is that even possible?
It sounds bizarre, but perhaps that was the whole point. Commit a crime that was so confusing, even Monokuma would be tricked.
Jeez, this culprit's a real jerk. So, have you realized who done it yet?
The culprit of the case. My detective work hasn't failed me. The culprit inside that exocell. It can only be them. Rantaro Amami. Okay. Fine. Peto Momota of the Stars.
The apparent victim we saw in the video was Kaito, which means Kokichi was operating the hydraulic press and camera at first.
Okay, so it's starting to feel like just the bear's its own entity and doesn't have a mastermind. Or it's Rantaro. It's pre-programmed or something.
If the two of them switched while the press was stopped, then the culprit who started the hydraulic press again and crushed Kokichi must be Kaito. So, the person inside that exisal isn't Kokichi. It has to be Kaito.
What did you say?
So the culprit for this case is Kaito Momota. That is what the ultimate detective has deduced, right?
Kaito is the culprit? What? You're joking, right? You can't be serious.
I don't want to believe it either, but it's the only way any of this makes sense. My detective work has led me to the conclusion that Kaito is the culprit.
Is that true? Is Kaito really in there?
Hey, answer us! If you really are Kaito, then...
I'm the culprit.
Huh?
There's just no way that Kaito can still be alive. Because I'm the culprit.
Wait, you? But didn't you say...
I saw it with my own eyes. Kokichi drank the antidote that he stole from Kaito. There's no doubt Kaito died. And he died because of my poison arrow.
But you told us you didn't want to kill Kaito and...
Yes, I never wanted to. I wanted to believe that I didn't kill him. But the truth speaks differently. In the end, I was just running away from the facts.
Huh? I don't understand.
Maki, are you trying to protect Kaito? If he's the culprit, you're trying to help him get away?
There was only one antidote, so it's more likely he died from my poison arrow. This is the truth.
It's not decided yet. I could have still killed him with the hydraulic press. Either way, those are the two options. Monokuma knows the answer, right?
Huh? Are those the only options?
I guess that's how things turned out.
No, that can't be. The person in that exisal is...
It's not Kaito! I saw Kokichi drink the antidote! There's no mistake. Kaito is dead. I killed Kaito. There is absolutely no doubt. That's the truth.
I thought so. Maki is trying to protect Kaito. I understand how she feels, but if Kaito is the culprit, why did he agree to Kokichi's plan? It's a good question. And we'll maybe find out in the next episode, shall we? I've been John Fox on channel John of the West. I've been having a Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony adventure. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Thank you for watching.